Hello students, this is Mr. Duncan. I'm coming to you from my garage. So this is our online classroom officially. So I have a whiteboard here painted on the garage wall. And right now we're going to explore something that I like to call the y-intercept. The y-intercept, you need to make sure that you are comfortable with knowing on a graph, what is the y-axis, what is the x-axis. X is the one that goes left and right, the one side by side. Start there first. X comes before y. Next up then would be the y. So I'm not sure if these are coming up, but you don't need to see the letters so much. Just know this is the x-axis going across, y-axis going up and down. So now what is the y-intercept? I know intercept from football. We are not playing football here. We are talking about intercepting on the y-axis. This is the bad boy that we're looking at. So if I simply draw a line, bam. And if I want that line to go all the way through, if you can see, I'm going to try to color. It's not the best. And I'm doing this just for an example. Where the y-intercept is on this graph is right where it crosses. So I'm going to zoom this in so you can see. So look at here, this spot right here where the line crosses the y-axis is the y-intercept. Now, I don't have lines listed here because it would not look pretty. My handwriting is not the best. But for example, we know that the line is crossing somewhere above the x-axis. It's above, so that means it has to be a positive number. So I'm just going to say, this is just me making this up, we'll say that was at 3. So this means that the coordinates, the two numbers that go next to each other would be 0 and 3. Not sure if that's the clearest. If it's not, I can try to make it more clear. 0, 3. That is the ordered pair or the coordinate pair. That simply means that's when this graph line crosses the y-axis, and it continues to go down. So now this is where students try to figure out what else we do with that information. So we'll look to explore that. So next up we'll talk about how we take that when it crosses the y-axis. We have this number 3, how we can take that and put it into the equation. Alright, so now we're going to look at this equation. We're going to use these letters. And math is all about numbers typically, but as you get older, we're going to introduce you to numbers. So what we have is y equals mx plus b. This is a vocabulary word that is on your Unit 6 vocab word assignment. Make sure you understand it. It's an equation we will use. I will let you know that the most important things you want to kick out of here is the m and the b. I'm okay with the x and y. X and y is okay because that is always on our graph, our coordinate plane, the x and y axis, so it's okay to leave those in there. What we just discussed was when we had the y-intercept of 0, 3. So remember, on our graph, that crossed the x-axis at a certain point. So I don't know if I can fit this in here. Remember, we had our graph, and the line crossed somewhere right around there. And we just said it was going to be positive 3. So that was the coordinate for where it crossed the y-axis, which we call the y-intercept. Now, we only need to worry about what to do with these numbers. We can take this 3 and we can magically take that and put it in place of the letter B. The y-intercept, where the line crosses, that just the y value. We can take that and put it in place. And we are going to keep this as a positive number, or a plus sign, because the 3 was positive. It was above the x-axis, so it's adding 3. So we've got that taken care of. Now, this we'll explore next week, how you can get rid of that m, but for today we should be good with understanding the y-intercept in the graph, then the y-intercept in the equation. We're going to explore a little bit though with this. So how do we get that 3? That 3 goes here. The 0, technically, what we're doing is we're solving for when this 0 exists. So technically, that 0 is in place of the x value. Put that there. So I'm going to erase some of our information that we have. So now, no matter what happens here, we have m multiplied by 0. This m we can eventually replace with a number. We'll explore what number to use next week. For the sake of this equation, or this example, I'm just going to use the number 13. So, when you have the mx, that technically, you don't see it. I don't know why we do this in math. We're trying to trick you. That means multiplication. So when we put numbers there instead, we have the x value was replaced by 0, because remember we had our coordinate pair that was 0 and 3. So This 3 will come back up in a moment, but the 0 is key to going for the x value, so we plug that in there. So when you multiply this problem, we have 13 times 0, means we have 0. Then 0 plus 3 is what we're left with. We haven't figured out what the y value is yet, so I'm just going to bring that bad girl on down. Y equals 0 plus 3. See if I can erase real quick. So what that gives us at the end, make sure this is fitting on here, y equals 0 plus 3, that means y equals 3. So how does this all make sense to what we just did on that graph? Well, we had the coordinates 0 and 3. Well, we're not going to worry about that. We had the x as 0. So the x value is 0. We put that in place of the x. We solved our problem, worked all the way down to figure out what the y equals. So the y-intercept is found when you put x in, or the 0 in for the x value. So the 0 goes in place of the x in our equation. If I can squeeze this at the top, m x plus b. So you put the 0 in place of the x. If you have the other information, you solve, and you would complete it from there. Boy, this looks crazy. If this does not make sense to you, get in touch with me. My extension is 3816. Call the ECOT number 614-492-8884. Get in touch with Mr. Duncan, 3816. Talk about math, talk about y-intercepts. Go from there.